Good morning. It's freaking early and I'm freaking crazy. Just got my first cup of coffee, sat down, went through my main account, saw there was fighting going on and nobody else was streaming it. So here we are. Welcome, Mad Mania, Mr. Weedy. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Glad to see you here. I mean, I haven't even been through all 10 of my farms yet. So we are doing that on the side, on the tablet, while we are spectating KvK. But hope everyone is doing well today. Let's get a look at the map, right? This is the upper right past 7. Looks like the enemies are building another fort here. Only an hour left on that. SW 2605. They need to push that hard if they want to take that down before it builds. Right here we got a fort that's repairing, so they didn't hit this all night last night when we were watching it. They apparently did overnight. There's a flag repairing here. If we look at the other side of the map, things get a little bit interesting over here. We've got a fort, 2605 fort, with about a third of its hit points left on it there. A little more than half of the hit points left on it there. All the enemy forts on this side are repairing. So it looks like they're going to be doing a 1846. Pushing over here, then dropping a couple of forts back here. Then pushing, you know. Which, you got to do what you got to do to survive. I hate the fort meta, but it is what it is. Yeah, I've done deer hunting, goose hunting, duck hunting. Never any pheasant, but I like hunting waterfowl the most because you get more action. I mean, you can sit up in a tree stand for days, freezing your butt off, and not see a single deer. But at least with geese and ducks, you have the right spot. You have flocks of geese and ducks flying over every hour. Looks like we got a pass rally here at the moment. What do we got in the pass? It's 2605, so it's probably what, Gorgo Constantine? Maybe Gorgo Hera? I cannot tell. Let's take simplified graphics off. Maybe that will help. Enemies bringing the fight to 2605. I love it. I love it. Stay aggressive. God, I can't even farm on this farm. It got zeroed. I don't have any fucking troops. Sitting in a tree stand right now. Shot at a 6 point, like 40 minute. Nice. Did you hit it? Or are you just waiting to track it, or did you miss? How far away was it from you? And third question, what kind of rifle do you use? Or is it bow season there? I know gun deer doesn't open up here until next week. Third question, what kind of rifle do you use? Dino says, lucky bastard. What's up, Riley? 2605 is a chance in Kingsland with 1077 sitting out, unfortunately. Them sitting out is more of a disappointment than 2605 claiming they're the next 1960. Ouch. Shots fired there. Keep it, Riley, keeping it real. Yeah, 2605 has this flag. Well, this flag is repairing now. They've got to get this fort down that's building. I would imagine this should be the priority. This enemy flag is repairing. This enemy fort is repairing. So I guess, no, none of the enemy stuff is on fire. But they have forts burning on the other side of the map. 2605 does, that is. One of their forts on the other side of the map was at about a third hit points, and the other was a little over half. Hey, Light Angel, good to see you. Waiting to track it. Good hit to the shoulder, nice. Oh, thank you, Dino. Appreciate that. I forgot to mute it again. I was watching another stream early this morning. We'll fix that real quick here. 20-yard shot. Yeah, if you missed a 20-yard shot, you just need to retire. So they're focused on this flag right now to get that back burning. Maybe they can't. Can they even touch that fort? They should be able to touch that fort, or is it covered by a flag? I'm not a territory guy. So one more farm to get in the Alliance resource pit, and then I can fully focus on this, the fights going on here. I'm doing good, Light Angel. How are you? Hey, good morning. How are things in 2489? Thanks, Tesh. Appreciate that. Good morning. Go to sleep. Yeah, it's 6:30 a.m. here, so I'm right there with you, but I'm just waking up. Now that I've got farmers out on all 10 farms, I can close the tablet down. We can fully focus 100% on this fight and on the chat. So my intent today was to run aluminum cans to the recycling center at about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So that's an hour and a half, 2 hours. But if there's still fights going on here and nobody else is streaming it, we may just stay here. We'll see. Could be a long day, but I'm up for it. Oh, definitely. Go get some sleep. Rugers are always solid choices. I have a Remington. I forget the exact model number, though. Mine's 30-06. Hi, Kriya. I'm doing well. How are you? Nope, we don't want to zoom out that far. As you're coming in the door, I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, it's easy to do. Just click that subscribe button as well. Appreciate it greatly as we work our way towards 3,000 subscribers. All the likes help get my streams in front of more people as well. This is just a hobby for me, though. It's not a business. But the more people we get in chat, the more people we get watching, the more fun we all have together. Good morning, Pocket. Alright, so now they got this flag burning again. That's the last time it can repair. This flag will have one more repair in it. This fort is still repairing here. Looks like they are refreshing. More than likely refreshing to make a push for this Alliance Fortress once this flag goes down. That's my guess anyway. Oh, mouse is freaking out there. Any advice for newer kingdoms entering KvK 5? A lot of CC 2800 plus kingdoms. Less than 100 billion. Yeah, if you're CC'd, Diplo in KvK is going to be difficult regardless of your kill points. You know, when you have 5 kingdoms in a camp for Heroic Anthem, or 5 kingdoms in a camp for Strife of the Eight, or you are doing one of the other KvKs where you have anywhere from 4 to 6 kingdoms in your camp, not just diplomacy with other camps, but diplomacy within your own camp can sometimes be a challenge. I mean, all you can do is go in and give it your best. You know, without being involved in the Diplo chat, it's hard for me to say. I don't know exactly what's going on. But, you know, just explain to them how you got to the kill points that you got to, right? If you didn't have any fights in KvK 1, or if you got betrayed in KvK 3, or, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, if all your players are natives because you wanted to build your kingdom from the ground up, you're going to have less kill points than if you got, you know, migrants in with tens of billions of kill points, right? So, you know, just explain to them. They can look at your deads, too, and they can see, okay, these guys have had 5 KvKs. They have, you know, 10, 20, 30 million deads apiece. You know, they're fighters. You know, so it's going to be hard, especially if you're in KvKs with older kingdoms that have 200 billion, 300 billion kill points. You know, but stats can all be manipulated too. You know, who knows how many of the kill points these other kingdoms have are from feeding each other kill points, or from just open field fighting, and they don't defend flags, they don't defend forts. So I mean, really, you know, we just go into every KvK and we try and take an open mind, and maybe you're not going to be the coalition lead for your camp, you know, and that's fine too. Then you don't have to worry about the planning, you don't have to worry about communicating with the other camps, you don't have to worry about any of that shit. You just follow the markers and go and fight and put your best foot forward. And you know, actions speak louder than words. So show them on the battlefield that you're willing to do what it takes, and you will slowly be included in more and more of the decision-making process. What's up, John? mean, I will be the first to say in our last KvK, well, we're still in one. 5 days left. Yeah, 5 days left. Diplomacy with the other camps was easy. It was diplomacy within our own camp that was a royal pain in the backside. 1029 wanted absolutely nothing to do with leading the coalition, with making maps. We just wanted to go in and play and have fun and have some good fights. But when kingdoms within our own camp start to bicker back and forth and call each other names and piss people off, and you have leaders leaving Discord and leaving leader chat in game, we kind of had to step in at that point and say, okay, all right, fine, we'll be the middleman here. And it was rough. It was rough. Any decision that was made, you got arguments from, and at the end of the day, Hubs took on the brunt of the diplomacy in our KvK. At the end of the day, I tried telling him, you're not going to make everyone happy all the time, so don't even try. I like the stream this time. I appreciate that, John. Good morning, Captain. Very early morning here in the U.S. It's probably, around lunchtime for you guys there. I mean, I can't remember the last KvK that we were in that we were able to just kind of sit back and fight and let other people do the maps and let other people do all the planning and the intercamp diplomacy. Our next KvK that we go into, that's the intent. We'll be there for all the fights, I promise you that. But I want nothing to do with diplomacy. I want nothing to do with map planning. I want nothing to do with, We'll be there. We'll be there when it matters. You tell us where to go. We'll go there and we'll fight. Absolutely. I'm okay with that. John's over there across the other pond, the bigger pond, right? If it's midnight. We're max skipping. We are max skipping. Got 17 to 20 migrants coming in. A lot of our players are tapped out on resources. We are patiently waiting for the migrants to come in so that we can start zeroing undesirables and taking their resources. We want the new players coming here to benefit from that as well. But we're farming like madmen. I've got 10 farms running right now. Kangaroo land. Speed ups too. A lot of guys in 29 were completely drained on speed ups. So once we're all back in home kingdom, it's going to be 1+1 forts constantly. I expect to see everybody running forts until they're out of AP every single day. Build those speed ups back, build those AP pots back that we all burned through in KvK. Right now we're a D seed. We are definitely a D seed. We got 4.7 billion power in the main alliance, probably another 1.5 billion power spread throughout our farm alliances. And that's what we kind of want to stay. We kind of want to stay a D seed for our next KvK. To allow all the people coming into the kingdom to kind of acclimate to how we do things. But then I think the goal after that, provided everything goes smoothly, I think the goal after that is to go up to a C seed kingdom. Maybe a mid-C. I think we get better fights as a CC kingdom than we do as a DC kingdom. So that's at least that's my vision. Of course, there are other leaders in the kingdom that will have input on that, but for now, we want to stay a DC'd for our next KvK to see what happens with all the people coming in. Right, Pocket, but exactly. When you get extra shit from doing barbarians, then it's time to do barbarians. Fully agree, 100%. Chain with 5 marches, I have no patience for that. I have none. No patience for chaining. I can do it, don't get me wrong. I can do it, but got Silk Road, got Ark of Osiris tomorrow, got Silk Road tomorrow. But we're going to keep plugging away. You know, we may have had five really good, powerful fighters leave the kingdom, but lock and load. Has Yafi started farming for you? I think he's getting there. The guy that took over Resurgence account dumped some resources on Yafi, so he's sitting at 5 or 6 billion of each resource right now. I don't know how Yafi lucked into that one, but he did. I guess he sent the man some baguettes and French fries. We generally don't have that problem, John. I mean, we had one KvK as a DC'd where the enemy wouldn't fight us at all. I mean, not at all. Plug your ears. But generally we get decent fights every time a pass opens for a day or so, 2 days, sometimes 3 days. And before things kind of mellow out until the next pass opens. You know, maybe the solution is to pick a different KvK other than Heroic Anthem, where you don't, you know, because Heroic Anthem, that pass 4 opens, you have fights in that first zone, and then really nothing else until pass 7 opens. So we'll be looking at all options and making those decisions the closer and closer we get to that KvK registration window. But it depends. They're, you know, just like there are good allies and bad allies, there are good enemies and bad enemies. You know, some enemies fight until their hospitals are full and they run home. And they slow heal, and then they come and fight again. And then they run home, and then they slow heal, you know. Other DC kingdoms, they'll fight like cats and dogs until they can't fight anymore. So we did a Strife for the 8. That was god-awful. 32 kingdoms. It was the worst time I've ever had. Well, second worst time I've ever had in a KvK. We did a Nile KvK, and like I said, we chose good allies, right? We're not going to go into a KvK that we can choose our allies and going to choose losers, right? So we had good allies in that KvK, and the other kingdoms that we were up against, I guess, felt that our camp was too overpowered. It was us and 1570, and they just would not fight us at all. Every time a pass opened, we took the pass, went into the zone, absolutely uncontested. They would not fight us at altars. They would not fight us at holy sites. They would not fight us. Hell, they wouldn't even come and kill our AFK troops at the holy sites. Not even kill our AFK troops. I think that KvK I had 700,000 kill points, 300,000 deads, and those 300,000 deads were from zeroing a player in our own kingdom. You know, so that was a rough one, because, you know, regardless of the Autric reward, which we did get at the end of that KvK anyway, we just to kind of throw it in their face, Our allies were kind enough to give us the zig at the end. But yeah, the thing I missed out on that hurts the most is the iconic crystals from, what is it, 4 million kills and 15 million kills, I think. Well, that's 2 iconic crystals. Those are 2 things you must get every KvK, is those iconics. No, yeah, this is true, but at the same time, we've only got in our entire kingdom, right? We've only got 100 billion kill points. We've only got 40 fighters. It's just the 40 fighters we have, 30, 40 fighters we have are hardcore dedicated players. And we've been in 8, 10 KvKs as a lower seed kingdom, so we've met a lot of great people, gone up against and teamed with a lot of great kingdoms already, so people know how we fight. And that'll get easier for you if you're only in your 5th KvK, your 2nd season of Conquest KvK. The more and more you fight, the you'll get a reputation. You'll see those kingdoms in the future. So don't be toxic in Lost Kingdom chat and in Coalition chat. That's the best advice I can give. Kill them with kindness, because these C and DC kingdoms, when you got 30 kingdoms in a KvK, 20 kingdoms in a KvK, 40 kingdoms in a KvK, the chances are, you're going to see some of the kingdoms you're in KvK with now again in the future. And if you prove what you can do on the field and you're just not toxic in Lost Kingdom chat, it's better to make friends with your enemies than it is to make enemies of your enemies and lifetime enemies of them. Yeah, I hear you, John. Everybody trades kills these days, and it's really freaking irritating, too. I've made several comments in Lost Kingdom chat. All these people that are trading kills, where were you when the fights mattered? I didn't see you on the battlefield, yet you want to trade T1 kills, yet you want to trade T4, T5 kills? Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I got my 30 million kills, what was it? 16 hours into the first zone fight. Yeah, I'm a reckless maniac. I get that, but at the same time, Arc is going to be interesting tomorrow. Most of us with very low on troops. I told people, if you got to use Siege, you got to use Siege. Let's just go in. Let's have fun. Let's work on our communication. I don't want anyone to use a 50% expansion. We don't have troops for that. I don't want anyone to use any healing speed ups at all. When you're out of troops, you're out of troops. Just try and get your 10 million points or whatever it is. Try and get your 10 million points so you can get your 5 or 10 goldies at the end. That's all. There's Yafi. Good morning, Yafi. Yeah, nobody else was streaming this KvK, so I figured it was a perfect opportunity to throw one up, even though I'm still half asleep. And the sun is just now cresting the horizon. SW's got a flag down here. Yeah, I think I've only got 13 players for the Arc tomorrow as well. Is this anyone's team that we're facing over here? Anyone know these guys? Well, I mean, if kill trading is allowed by kingdoms, then they're doing it to themselves, right? They're artificially inflating their stats, and you know, I don't 1029. I tell people no. If I see them offering trade T1s, trade T1s. I mean, if they're doing a duel, if they're doing a legitimate duel, I'm fine with that. But if they're, you know, attacking T1s or attacking siege marches just to increase KP, that's not a good thing. I would not condone that, and that we don't like that. Hey Jay, I've always liked Heroic Anthem, but you know, I think Orleans and what's the other one? Warriors Unbound, they have some big zones that would make it very hard for lower seed kingdoms. That said, you know, a lot of others in the alliance, in the kingdom, want to try some of these other KvKs, so we may just be doing that. What's going on, Davesky? Yeah, I don't even let them trade T1s after we pull the stats, Shotsky. Maybe I'm evil, maybe I'm mean. If they want to duel with T4s versus T4s or T5s versus T5s and legitimate commanders, I mean, I'm not talking a Nevsky Joan against a you know, Peacemaker and Dragon Lancer. That's trading kills. I'm talking, you know, Nevsky Joan versus Nevsky Joan. If they want to do a legitimate duel, I'm fine with that. And I told our entire coalition, and I told our allies too, if you see any 1029 players offering to trade T1s, please let me know. When is our next KvK? It's going to be a while. We've got 5 days, 10 hours on this one, and then 3 more days for the map to finalize and wrap up. And we're max skipping. I'm just in... Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So does this make me evil? Okay, you guys tell me, right? We had a guy in the kingdom, never ever told us he was selling his account. All of a sudden, there's a new owner on the account. And this guy was breaking alliance rules. He tried to push into the top 15 in the MGE, so he got kicked from the alliance. So he then comes to me and says, well, if you want me to leave, you're going to have to give me passports. I'm like, no, you're not going to frickin' hold this kingdom hostage. I'm not giving you passports. That would allow you access into an alliance, and it would give you access to Zone 2 and Zone 3. You've already proven that you don't listen to rules. So I'm not going to reward you for trying to steal 15th place in an MGE by giving you passports. Yes, I want you gone from the kingdom, but you're going to have to buy your own passports. Well, the prior player was a good player with you. They didn't do this, they didn't do that, they didn't break rules, blah, blah. I don't care what the prior player did. You're the one who's playing on this account now. You tried to take 16th place in an MGE. And you expect me to give you passports? It ain't gonna freaking happen, buddy. We'll just zero you until you get sick of it and buy your own damn passports and leave. Oh, well, you're evil. This kingdom is run by a dictator king. You're damn right it is. You're damn right it is, but I don't make decisions by myself. We have other leaders in this kingdom that help with that decision-making process. And we are not going to be held hostage to some terrorist making demands. Now, if the prior player had come to me before he sold his account and had said, hey, Lambo, I'm going to be selling my account. Is there any way I can get some passports from an alliance shop so that the new player coming in is ready, can migrate out right away? I would have said, absolutely sure, let's help you out. Right? But after a new buyer takes an account and they break rules in the kingdom, then they say, oh, give me passports and I'll stop. Yeah, fuck that. I mean, the king's got the banishment skill now, right? I can banish any rogue players up to the top left-hand corner of the map. And any cities in that zone, they're going to be free to farm. You know, go and farm them at any time. Exactly, Victor. Thank you. So what? I sent out, where is it? Yeah, this is the guy here. Right here. Right here. I sent out this email. If you decide to sell your account, I'm happy to provide enough passports to you for whomever buys the account to migrate out of the kingdom. Just contact me and let me know. I also ask, if you decide to sell your account, before you turn over the access to anyone, you port to the exile zone in the upper left, and you leave the alliance before a new person takes possession of the account. If that new person wishes to remain in 1029, they have to go through the same process a new migrant does and apply and do a voice interview. That's simple. That's simple. So if Yafi wants to sell his account and he needs passports on there so the new player can migrate out, I expect him to come to me and ask for those passports in one of the alliances so he can load up on passports. You know, and I tried to explain this to the buyer. Like, dude, when you bought the account, why didn't you ask him right away how many passports he had in the account? You know, that's one of the things that I would ask if I was buying an account, right? Let me see your bags. Let me see how many passports you have. I want to migrate out of the kingdom. Just because you were a good player there doesn't mean they're going to give me passports when I take over the account. You know, so if let it be a lesson to anyone out there. If you're buying an account, do your research. Know what you're buying. Know what you're getting into. If you want to stay in the kingdom you're buying an account in, make sure you talk to the leadership there. Tell them what's going on. Be open and honest. You know, it's this sneaky, underhanded, backdoor bullshit that drives me crazy. Morning, B. So, yeah, him and one of his other friends in Kingdom Chat who made an account here just to troll me. You know, oh, you're evil, you're a dictator, this kingdom sucks, you lost KvK. Yeah. All facts, all facts. I'm an evil dictator and we lost our KvK. All the more reason you should leave. All the more reason you should buy some new world bundles and get the fuck out. Because I'm an evil dictator and we lost our last KvK. Well, and the middleman don't care. The middleman for an account doesn't care. You know, he gets commission. He doesn't care. All he's looking at is the money. The account seller doesn't care. He just wants to be done with the account. That's where buyer beware, right? You buy an account, you know what's on the account. If you plan to stay in that kingdom, make sure you know the kingdom rules. Make sure to talk to the king, talk to the R4s. You know, talk to the alliances there. If you're not intending to stay in the kingdom, make sure that account has the passports, or you're willing to spend to buy the passports. I have a friend who flips accounts. He does, yeah, well. your friend is a different breed then. A lot of people who sell accounts, they just don't care. They just want to be done. They just want to be done. And I've never bought an account. I've never sold an account. You know, when I quit this game, I want to quit this game on a live stream, and I want to watch my kingdom zero every single one of my accounts. That's how I want to go out, or in a KvK, right? But we've got time. We've got time. I'm going nowhere yet. I'm still enjoying myself in the game. I'm enjoying live streaming. The tough part is all the responsibility of R5. So we will be, once we get migrants in and get the kingdom to stable's not the right word, but once we get the migrants in and they're kind of acclimated, then I fully plan to rotate R5 around. I do not want this title full time. Speaking of R5, I'm sorry, I forgot to do this today. 1029, Lost Temple. Okay, now we can go back. Other side, please. Yes, sir. Not a whole lot going on over here. All right, we've got this fort about a third. This fort just over half. I imagine when these have about 4 hours left to burn time, that 2605 will be back over here to back fort. We can check out Zone 4 as well. I think there was some action over here yesterday. Oh, yep, we got other forts burning in Zone 4. Not touching anything here. That's where the map lies. Is that a microwave beeping in the background? It might have been. I don't hear it beeping, but I've got headphones on, so maybe my wife was making something in the kitchen. Other side, please. Go back, big fight. We're gonna try and catch it all, guys. We're gonna try and catch it all. I no longer run BlueStacks on my PC, so unfortunately we cannot do multi screens, but it is what it is.
Fight!
Morning, Harley. Or afternoon. Ooh, lots of 2605 sad faces. Is that flag gonna stand? There is a flag in the middle of that mayhem. We can still see the blue dotted line here. Was it a micro? Okay. She might have been making breakfast. I'm surprised you picked that. The mic picked that up. That's a ways away. The kitchen is. Yo. I can't even tell if they're hitting the flag. Oh, I see the Xeno in there, so yep. We're... Xander says, smash those 605. All right, we're at 50 likes already, y'all. Let's get up to 100 today. Greatly appreciate that. We're going to drop 5 gifted memberships in the chat. So if you do not have gifted memberships enabled yet, do it now. Gives you access to all kinds of fun emojis. Access to the Touchdown Club on my Discord server. Dino Master, Victor, Harley, Xander, and Daniel. Welcome to the Touchdown Club. Flag's still there. Flag is built. Absolutely, guys. Pop those emojis. Are you Archer Gang, an infantry simp? Or do you think cavalry rules? the first emoji Dino pops is feet pics. Okay. Archer Gang, that's right. That's right. Alright, get this fort burning now. What's up, Ben? Good to see you. Just checking to see if we're getting any reports anywhere here. I don't know why they added me to these Turkish chats. I can't read a damn thing in those, but hey, it is what it is. Daniel's Archer Gang too. I love it. All the Archer players in here. I love it. You guys excited for the 2 new commanders? I am really hoping that the rally commander is smite damage and will counter Gorgo. Got Herman Prime. Juicy, juicy, juicy. Saved up for it. I'm not quite there yet. I just finished Gorgo. I think I've got, what do I got now? 123? So I'm hoping it's at least a month or two before they release these commanders, right? We'll get 6 from Silk Road tomorrow. At least 5 from Ark of Osiris tomorrow. This Gold Head event, we have got, I think Hubs is taking first place in this. Right? So we'll get, probably get 4 here. We'll try and stay in the top 10 there. I just took a first place in a Gold Head event, so I can't take another one for 3 months. At heart, yes, I'm an Archer main, but you know, it's really hard to run 5 Archer marches in the open field when you only have equipment for 3. I don't know, did you see? 414 passports? Yes, you did. So every month when the New World Bundle comes out, I get the $5 bundle and the $10 bundle, right? Because the $5 bundle, you get 1 passport. The $10 bundle, you get 2 passports. Regardless of if I plan to migrate or not, it's always good to have those on hand. Once you hit that $19.99 bundle, that $20 bundle, you only get 3 passports. So you're paying more per passport at that $20 bundle. So I just always buy the $5 and the $10 bundle every month when that comes out and just save them up. So this KvK, with the power I've currently got, it would only take 47 passports to migrate to one of these kingdoms. Now, there's some good kingdoms in here, don't get me wrong. I'm not interested in migrating. Normally it's 75 passports, so. But you know, we've always had the mindset here that if you're a proven fighter and you've given everything you have to 1029 and you would like to go to 1365 or, you know, another one of these big Imperium kingdoms to fight a KvK, we're happy to let you do so. The door is always open for people to come back. So maybe once we get things stable here again, once we get some good leaders in place, start rotating R5, you know, maybe we'll see if we can do that. But you know, the good kingdoms out there, the 1960s, the 1365s, you know, they're not gonna accept a player at 150, 170 million power just for 1 KvK. You know, so those kind of kingdoms, those big Imperium kingdoms that I might want to go fight in for 1 KvK and come back to 1029, that's going to be a dime a dozen. You've got good players there. I remember watching your KvK. Yeah. The 1029 is where boys go to be men. I mean, you know, the thing here is more about attitude than anything, right? You could have the best kill points and the best deads in the world, but if you're a complete douchebag, we don't want you here. You know, most of us have been playing this game for 3 to 5 years. And it's more about having fun and playing with people that we're friends with than it is about winning every single KvK or going for first place in Osiris League or anything like that. So, you know, if people come here and they don't have the right attitude, it can disrupt the fun that we have. And it's a game. The last thing you want to do is not have fun playing a game. If not for the Otrix, I mean, I'm fine never getting another star on this banner again. 4 stars, I think, looks cooler than a moon. You know, so it's Otrix rewards, right? And I don't understand this. Tell me why this says I only have 1, but yet I've got 2 Hunter inscriptions from Otrix and 2 consecutive KvKs. Noobzilla, welcome to the Touchdown Club. Appreciate you, sir. Noobzilla is a monster fighter in 2444. I'm trying to remember. He plays with Captain and those folks there. Now the fun is over, the noob is here. Yep, new KvK map has merit coins for kills, so we're going to see even more kill trading in those KvKs. You just wait and see. Noob, you just let us know if you're taking another city rally, and we'll pop over there and we'll watch you. I saw one of his reports yesterday or the day before. I think they rallied his city, and he had like 2,000 deads to their 500,000 deads. It was fucking insane. The 2444, from what I can see and from what I gather, is a very well-run kingdom. And they have mature players there who know how to play the game. Right? I mean, that's the other thing in 1029, right? I don't want to bring players here that are brand new to the game and have to learn the game mechanics. So all the players that we're bringing in after KvK, I would consider to be veteran players, more mature players, who, you know, I'm not going to have to spend hours and hours teaching game mechanics on, or telling them what troops to use to swarm a flag, or what troops to use in Arco Osiris, you know. So that's a big thing as well. You know, kills, deads, that's only a baseline. Those stats can be manipulated. Personality, attitude, game knowledge, that's what I try and get in here. Barb chaining between enemy flags. I don't know how you guys remember all these KvKs that you've been in and who you played with and against. I got an entire spreadsheet. But we just put deadbeat kingdoms on the spreadsheet. So when that flag goes down, let's see, we got another flag here and another flag here. So when this flag goes down, SW can build over in this little corner here, I think. Still, this fort is still repairing. Last night, I think we watched this for 90 minutes, and they didn't hit this fort one time. Do I need to post your location in LKC? So, Lucas, good question. This is Heroic Anthem. The level 7 pass opened about 24 hours ago. So in approximately 48 hours, Kingsland is going to open. I don't think either of these sides, 2605 or the enemies, will make progress into the other zone by the time Kingsland opens. So that's where the big fight's going to be. And we will see at that time what 2605 is made of, taking on multiple camps and multiple kingdoms in Kingsland. Right now, 2605 is being aggressive on this side of the map. Understandably so. If you can get these flags down, you can maybe get a foothold in this zone somewhere. On this side of the map, though, they're going to have a few hours yet before they have to back build some forts. Otherwise, the enemy can get in behind them. And then in this zone as well, it looks like 1302 has got some forts burning over here. So I don't know if this zone even matters anymore. Right? You probably by now you've already completed your bastions. At least got the skills unlocked. So I don't know if that zone matters and if they would just give up that zone or not. So to me, it appears that their focus is on this middle pink area and trying to get some territory established in here. If they can if they can get some flags in here, and they can port Yoda in or Fluffy Pony, yeah, look out. But again, this territory is kind of covered up by the pass a little bit. Even if you get all of these flags down and you build your own in here, there's maybe 5, 6, we'll call it 6 or 7 teleport spots. And when this flag goes down here, this fort expands a little bit more here, right? So, but if you can get a couple of Krakens to port in there, they've probably got, they've got enough people buying gold chests in that kingdom. They've probably got a fair number of resources, Lucas. John says too many people just hit their peak and stop learning after they get a few kills. I would not be one of those YouTube channels to watch for good advice. What works for me doesn't necessarily work for everyone. I don't do videos. I don't do tier list videos. I don't do pairing videos. I enjoy live streaming much more than doing videos. Yep, Yoda's over on the 1302 side at the moment, correct? I saw his city over there. BT Cyborg would be another Kraken, absolutely. I've always enjoyed watching videos for this game just because of the community aspect. You know, even if Plato or Beast or Apo or Chisgull or Drago or Gaines or Shinshi or whoever, even if they put out a tier list, what they are ranking as S tier might be different for every player. So you really gotta take what any content creator says with a grain of salt and do your own testing and do your own analysis and look at your own reports. You know, just because it works for Chisgull doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Just because it works for Lambo doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Justin had 50 billion of each resource yesterday, apparently. Yeah, I haven't seen Yoda in the stream in a while. He used to pop in here at least every other day just to say hello, but I haven't seen him in a while. So, Yoda, Justin? You must let the force around you. That's for you, my friend. MF, if you're watching... that's for you, buddy. Miss ya. Miss you in the game. Still talk to you frequently on Discord. (1302) and 1077 are half drained. Yeah, they've had some tough KvKs. But yeah, Justin has no limit. (2605) will struggle in Kingsland. What is keeping their hope high is because if 1302, they know that they have a very bad time, they can only fight for 5 hours, and the rest is basically free burning. Yeah, I'm sure Justin's a busy man. Only content creators I listen to are you and Seawill. Seawill, yeah, Seawill is like the new Wick Gaming of the content creators, right? I mean, if Seawill tells me I need 3 war drums, I'll be damned. I'm getting 3 frickin' war drums. I've seen Fruit Dealer's videos from time to time. Seems to give out good information also. This heroic Anthem map is quite different than ours at this past 7. Oh no, not the... okay, we were at the other past 7, sorry. This one down here is kind of weird. You've got this big mountain here. $59 likes, y'all. Remember, as you're coming in, smash that like button for me, would you? Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Every subscriber counts. I value each and every one of you, and thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I think the kings and all the kingdoms should agree. Okay, let's just say Nile KvK. If big kingdoms want to do a recovery KvK, they go to Nile KvK, so they don't get matched up and throw off matchmaking for other big kingdoms. I mean, I don't know, just a thought there, but getting everybody to agree and egos and everything play into the mix, that'd be like pulling teeth from a saber-toothed tiger. Yep, Archer Syndicate puts out good free-to-play advice, as does 12-inch. There are lots of good creators out there, guys. Lots. I mean, I think I enjoy watching Apo, Plato, Only Farmer, Beast, Jake, Redline. I love watching Redline fight. He's a man. He fights exactly like I try to fight. My goal is to emulate Redline with my fighting style. Balls to the wall, no fucks given, go in and have fun. What's up, Diego? Red is a silly little goofy guy. Come on, he says he's 6'7". He's not little. Appreciate that, Davesky. Did I see his last video? Why did he block MF? What? No, I didn't see that one. Fleisch. I will watch him if there's no other content creator on. I'm not a huge fan. Let me say it that way. And we'll just leave it at that. But if you like him, hey, great. Go watch him. More power to you, right? I mean, you know, I do this as a hobby. A lot of these guys are doing this, trying to make a career of this, trying to make a business out of this. This is a hobby for me. I just have fun doing this. You know, I'd be watching this KvK probably regardless of if I was streaming or not. So I might as well stream and talk to some people while I'm watching it. You know, I started streaming to just kind of challenge myself and see if I could do it. And I thoroughly enjoy doing it. Yeah, and I'm Shaquille O'Neal. You know, so you know, I might not be everybody's cup of tea, and I'm totally fine with that. People might not like the music that I play, and I'm totally fine with that. You know, if there's other content creators that people enjoy watching more, absolutely, go watch them, right? Life is too short. Have fun. Do what you want to do. Enjoy life. You know, each of us is only given a short period of time on this earth. We might as well do the things that we enjoy as much as we can. I know back in the beginning, Redline was in a kingdom and MF made an account there and whaled up and was attacking farms and attacking flags and being a general nuisance. And Redline had a baby account there and messaged this MF player in this new kingdom from his Redline account and said, just wondering, are you planning to migrate? And MF then messaged Redline from his MF account and said, hey buddy, that's me. You're flexing on the wrong person. If he can make money doing that, Riley, you know, more power to him, right? I think a lot of the advice he gives out to the players that seek his coaching, it's sound advice. You know, for some people it might be worth the $25, $35 that he's charging for it. So, if you know, it is what it is. This is his career. So he's got to maximize his profits to look out for his own best interest, to pay his rent. So Yeah, Red does tell the story a little bit different. He was there, I wasn't, so. I would agree with that statement, Diego. What does he have? He has the members are in the Swarm Club. But he's usually fighting with T4s, and that's not the best thing to swarm with. So, everyone, again, everyone's got their own fighting style. Not everyone fights like Chisgul. Not everyone fights like Fleisch. Not everyone fights like Redline. So it is what it is. As long as he's enjoying playing the game and having fun playing the game, do your thing, dude. It's not how I play the game. It doesn't mean that I play it right and you play it wrong, or you play it right and I play it wrong. If you're having fun and enjoying what you're doing, do it up. I mean, it's... Did I want to drop to 84 million power? I absolutely was trying to avoid that, but, it is what it is. I'm not gonna drop to 100 million power and say, okay, guys, I'm done fighting. No, I'm gonna be there for my alliance. If they need me to swarm something, I'm gonna swarm something. If we had a chance in Kingsland, after our allies after Fire Camp got pushed out, and after 2 of our kingdoms in our camp went to sleep for the night, if we had still had a chance in Kingsland, I'd probably be down at 52 million. But you got to know when to say when, too. You got to know when to do a strategic retreat and start licking your wounds and preparing for the next battle. What's up, Yami? As much as I would have liked to continue fighting, when you're outnumbered 30 to 1 in marches, it's just not realistic. I mean, we were doing a hell of a job in Kingsland. We were 6 flags away from pushing the 2 biggest kingdoms in in Wind Camp out of Kingsland. And then Fire said they were done. They got pushed out of Kingsland themselves. So we had Water Camp coming for us too. And once Water Camp started coming, things got harder, but we were still managing. We were defending our shit, and we were still pushing Wind. But then 2 kingdoms in our camp said, okay, guys, it's our downtime now. And it's 3 kingdoms in our camp against 5-10 kingdoms from 2 other camps. It wasn't sustainable. How many deads did I get in this KvK? We can take a look. 10,050,632. All T5s. I don't use T4s. Last KvK I had more deads. Last KvK I had 11 million deads. But last KvK I pushed like 30 million power for Zenith as well. So that's last KvK. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about free-to-play players that are T4. I mean, if you're a free-to-play player, you really gotta think hard. Do I even want T5s? Do I want to just get Town Hall level 25, max out all the buildings, max out tech, and just not have T5s, right? Because it is expensive. I mean, I gotta have 10 farms to support my T5s. You know, so it is expensive to fight as a T5 and fight how I want to fight. You know, so it all depends upon your fighting style when you're a free-to-play player. Do you even unlock T5? Some people do, some people don't. Some people fight with mixed T5, T4s. Some people fight with one or two marches of T5s and the rest T4s. You know, it's a fine line you walk there. I still like Nevsky Joan. I really do. Now I see a lot of players fighting with Nevsky William and Huo Joan, and a lot of big players from a lot of big kingdoms are using those combinations as well. But I still fight with Nevsky Joan myself. I use Nevsky Joan, HQ William, and XY Justinian. Yeah, if you're running that one cav march, then it's got to be Nevsky Joan. But, you know, I don't know if 60 GT is a place I would even want to go. Right? Sure, you'd have fun there, but I don't want to have somebody piloting my account. If that's a requirement to migrate to a kingdom, that's a kingdom that I would cross off my list very quickly. I mean, every single kill point on this account, every single dead on this account, every single resource gathered, every single help, that's all me. You know, nothing against pilots. If you want someone else playing on your account and you have the money to let them play on your account, more power to you. I know Redline still has some unfinished business in 1960. I think he wants to face off against 1365 one more time. But after every KvK he has, come to 1029, Red. Come to 1029. You're going to have a baby soon. We're a little bit more chill here. We go hardcore in KvK, but it's not hardcore like 60 GT hardcore. So there are a couple people that kind of get an automatic pass if they ever want to come here, and one of those is Redline. Alloys is another. I mean, I've had some big ass freaking whales apply to the kingdom, right? I mean, we're talking 200 million power. 10 billion plus deads, 50 billion, or excuse me, 10 billion plus kill points, 50 million deads that have made demands. Well, I want first place in each MGE. I want this. I want that. No, sorry. Doesn't work. Doesn't work for me. No matter how big you are, you still have to have a team around you. Good morning, Dracool. If I migrate to 1029, can I skip the phone interview? No, sir. No, sir. Each and every person that migrates here, I need to interview. I need to talk to. Need to explain the rules of the kingdom to you. Ask you questions. It's like a job interview, to be honest. I mean, I unlocked T5 on my biggest farm. I wish I never did. Hey, there's an alliance gift. I gotta like that. See people back in Home Kingdom running forts already. Yeah, I think I'd qualify, but I don't know if I'd want to go there. I mean, the thing is, when we're in KvK, right, I feel like if my team is fighting, if my kingdom is fighting, I need to be online fighting with them. And when they have 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week fights there, I would feel like, okay, my alliance is fighting, I need to be there fighting. And I would probably neglect everything else in life, which is not good, including sleep, including work, including family. You know, I do that now, but it's generally for 1 to 3 days after a pass opens, and I like that. You know, I mean, not to mention being in a smaller kingdom. You know, I get first place in a gold head event every 3 months. I get second place in a gold head event every 3 months. MGEs, typically the top MGE spots go to our better fighters, right? This MGE is, where are we here? You know, this MGE is a Gorgo and infantry MGE, so our first priority when we do the rankings for MGE is people who are maxing Crystal Tech and who are maxing Gorgo and have another garrison commander to pair her with. Second priority is people who still need Gorgo. They might not be max Crystal Tech players, but they already have another garrison in place or multiple garrison commanders in place to pair her with and have really, really good equipment, right? Third priority, if somebody's not working on Gorgo and wants an infantry commander, you know, I'll get them a spot in MGE. You know, last priority for MGE rankings, this MGE is going to be people who just want to unlock. You know, just want that bundle with the 10 gold heads. So we try and keep it very organized here as far as MGE goes. And you know, yeah, if there's a tie, like say myself and Stitch both want first place, you know, then it might go to contributed the most in the last KvK. You know, we try and look at everything when we're giving out MGE rankings. You know, how many gold heads does a person have? Can they max this commander right away? Last MGE, I got first place with Gorgo because I needed exactly 177 Gorgo heads to finish her off. So first place gave me that. So now I can sit out this MGE totally. So we try to keep it very organized in MGE and gather the data and make educated, logical decisions as to who gets what. And normally, players migrating to the kingdom have to not even participate in MGE until they play a full KvK with us and they prove themselves. But since I had 5 rally and garrison people leave the kingdom or quit the game recently, you know, we're going to make an exception to that, to this group of migrants, and you know, they'll be treated just like any other players in 1029. If they max Crystal Tech and they have the ability to max commanders quickly to use in KvK, then we'll give them higher rank spots. Yeah, and our MGEs are typically, what is it? First place has to get 20 million points, second place 19, 18, 17, so on and so forth. You know, because you got to try and manage them well so that people aren't blowing through speed ups. in a smaller kingdom where you don't get a ton of gold chests on a daily basis. Now, we don't get a ton of gold chests on a weekly basis. Maybe 3 to 6 gold chests on a weekly basis. So you really got to manage things a little bit better, even in gold head events, to make sure that people aren't wasting speed ups unnecessarily, and they have those speed ups come KvK time. Don't get me wrong, I think it'd be fun as hell to play one of those big KvKs, but at this time, it's really not something I'm interested in. Up to 78 likes and 80 wonderful people watching the stream. If you have not done so yet, please press that like button. It helps get the stream out in front of more viewers, helps get us more action going in the chat. The more people we have in chat, the more fun we can have together, right? I do try and read everything and respond to any questions in chat. If I miss something, I do apologize. Trying to watch the KvK too and have fun watching the KvK. On my tablet as well, I keep sending farmers out on my 10 farms. Got to keep those puppies going. Ooh, Riley, what you getting? Get me something too, would you? A nice cinnamon roll would be really yummy right about now. It'd go great with this coffee. So Zentrix is just making sure you're, once you get to a certain VIP level, you get 3 a day. I think it's VIP 14, if I'm not mistaken. So that's part 1, and then just make sure you're competing in all the events. You're doing your KvK ceremonies every time they come up. You are participating with the Alliance and Silk Road. Every time events pop up that contain gold heads in them, like the 7,000 gem event. Make sure you're finishing those. You just gotta grind. The one thing I do not do that would give me gold heads is play Champions of Olympia. That game mode just doesn't appeal to me. How many Alliance chests do we get a day? We probably have 5 or 6 people buying the daily bundle every day, and maybe on average, it depends what bundles are released. When the monthly bundles come out, we get more goldies than generally most of the rest of the month. We have probably 1 or 2 people that buy Call of the Ancients every time it pops. I try and get that armaments bundle when it pops. So on a daily basis, I'd say we average maybe 1 gold chest. A bunch of smaller chests, right? Yeah, I mean, we always got people buying daily bundles. Ooh, grits sound good. They gotta be made perfectly, though. I've had some really good grits, and I've had some really bad grits. Oh, barb fort. When we're in off season and everybody's doing 1+1 forts, I myself will run 30 to 40 forts a day on my 4 accounts that are in the main alliance. I would say we probably average 200 to 250 barb fort chests a day. If everybody's running forts like they should be. You know, again, if there are events like Strategic Reserve or Lohar going on where you get extra stuff for hitting the barbarians, you know, that's going to drop off, right? But I would say generally probably about 200 a day. Because with just these characters alone, how do I change characters here? Where is it? You know, I'll do 1+1 forts with these two, and then I'll run forts with these three as well, and fill them with each other. You know, and we're doing. I mean, on the main account, we're doing CC Mina rallies on forts. On my second account, I'm doing Mina Boudica rallies, Epic Boudica. On my third account, it's Mina Boudica. On my fourth account, it's Ethelfled Boudica. And on my fifth account, it's Ethelfled Boudica. Well, some people have already started bringing or making farms in the kingdom to kind of get a jump start on farming. But migration opens in 8 days, 9 hours, and 54 minutes. Some people are going to be bringing their mains over right away. Others are going to be migrating farms into the kingdom while they finish out the KvK that they're currently in. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, everyone who's approved is supposed to contact me when they're ready, and we'll arrange a date and a time to hook up on Discord so that we can get her done. But I'm looking forward. It's gonna be new, something exciting. Sometimes it's hard to integrate new people into the kingdom, right? People that are used to playing a certain way, or people that have a certain leadership style. You know, I am very direct and to the point. You know, I'm not one of those R4s, R5s that, you know, will take somebody aside and sugarcoat things and make them all feel good. And you know, I'm not like that. You know, somebody does something wrong, I'm gonna tell them they did something wrong. If I do something wrong, I expect the same thing. You know, hey Lambo, you fucked this up. Okay. You know, people come into this kingdom, hopefully they have a thick skin. We love to poke fun at each other. I think Yafi gets poked fun of the most because he's French. But he, you know, I think he knows we all love him like a brother. He's like a little brother, and it's all in good fun. Yeah, it can be weird at the start adapting to a new kingdom. You know, you just got to kind of sit back and observe how they do things, and you know, if you have comments and suggestions, great. But you know, people coming into a new kingdom, just kind of sit back, just kind of take it easy. Electro King has retired from the game. Yafi took over the Electro King account. But speaking of Electro King, we haven't mentioned his name yet. If you do have any graphics needs, Electro King does all the graphics for me. Emojis, intros, outros. You name it, he does it. He does it well, does it quickly, at a reasonable price, and he's very easy to work with. If you have any needs for graphics, you can hit up Electro King. You can certainly find him on my Discord. You know, he did graphics for Skywalker, Beast. I miss that guy, Skywalker. He said hello a little while ago, but I haven't seen him come back. But yeah, Electro King did graphics for Beast, for Black Panther. He's done graphics for me, for Apo, for Only Farmer. So you need anything graphics related, if you need me to put you in contact with him, I can certainly do that. The avatar that Yoda has, the profile picture that Yoda has, Electro King did that. So, well, I don't know if I should say this, Rock Farm, but 1916 was built much like 307. There were a lot of players there. A lot of those players, though, were casual players. You know, they would play for a couple hours a day. Yeah, they had a solid group of hardcore fighters there, but when you grow a kingdom real quickly, and I would guesstimate, my opinion, of course, I would guesstimate 80% of the players there are more casual players, and you're in that top Imperium ranks, it's going to be hard to maintain in KvKs where you're fighting, you know, the likes of 1093, the likes of 1365, 1960, those kingdoms that are built around 70% of the players there being hardcore players. You know, so it sucks to see kingdoms like 307 and 1960 in the position that they're in, but that's, you know, kingdoms learn from that. You know, if you're not purging after every single KvK and getting rid of the dead weights, or at least dealing with the dead weights in some way, shape, or form, you know, talking to them, explaining to them what's going on, making sure that they're going to be fighting the next KvK. You know, we generally give people a second chance. You know, if you're not doing that, you're not getting rid of people who are not meeting expectations, you're doomed to fail. You know, I think even Plato and Black Panther's kingdom experienced something similar. You know, not that they're doing great, don't get me wrong, but they got comfortable in KvKs, winning some KvKs, and they didn't deal with players who weren't meeting expectations, and then they realized when they got into a bigger KvK, hey, geez, we need to do something about this. You know, so that's something kingdom leadership always has to be talking about with each other, is who's active, who's meeting expectations, and who's not meeting expectations. You know, and the thing with 1916 and 307, right, is you had players who had big accounts in both those kingdoms. You know, both those kingdoms are in a KvK at the same time. Which kingdom are you going to give priority to? You know, that's one of the reasons I only have accounts in 1029. Because if I had accounts in multiple kingdoms, it would be very hard to prioritize. Okay, so it wouldn't be hard for me. If 1029's in fights, I'm always going to fight in 1029, period. You know, but at the same time, I feel like I would be, it would not be respectful to the other kingdom that I was in if I'm prioritizing one over another. You know, and if I'm in KvK in another kingdom, I'm not going to want to send out farmers on 10 farms in 1029. So, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Right? If you're online fighting for 12 hours, the last thing you want to do is send farmers out. Yeah, and you know, different kingdoms have different expectations. They have different rules, per se. You know, we don't have a kill or dead requirement in 1029. I have found in prior kingdoms that there are certain players who, once they hit that kill requirement and that dead requirement, they stop fighting altogether. because they're safe. They can stay in the kingdom. You know, but we pull stats. We pull stats after every past fight, a day or so after every past fight. Once the fighting dies down, we pull stats after every altar fight, so we know who is fighting at the altars. And we look at those numbers. And if people are not fighting and they're not communicating to us in advance that they won't be there for the fight, that's when we have a problem. You know, it's all about communication. You know, if somebody can't fight because they've got real life stuff going on, they can't fight because they've got real life stuff going on. But you know, let us know in advance so we can plan accordingly. It's not hard. You know, but a lot of kingdoms I played in the past, you have to, if you're 100 million power, you have to get X amount of kills, you have to get X amount of deads. And that's all fine and dandy. I understand why they do that. But there's a handful of players in those kingdoms that once they hit those numbers, okay, I'm done. My KvK is over. I hit my kills, I hit my deads, I can stay in this kingdom. And that's not the case. That's not the case. Just because you hit your kill and dead requirements, if we're still fighting, I expect you there fighting. I mean, there are a lot of big kingdoms that do have people in R4 positions that don't really, how do I say this, don't really know how to play the game. But they're there because they do a lot of the administrative tasks. You know, they'll schedule the events, they'll put markers up, they'll handle the HR department, the complaints department, right? You know, there are a lot of kingdoms that I've been in that have had players in those positions that are not really fighters, but they do a lot of the administrative stuff for the R4 team and for the kings, and that's fine. You know, we try and have players in our R4 position who are fighters and who have knowledge of the game. It makes it hard sometimes, right? Because when I rallied a Pat 7 in this last KvK, that rally must have gone on for 90 minutes. We had to have one person dedicated to just kicking people from the rally who were sending the wrong troops to the rally or who were sending from 14 minutes away. Not people from our kingdom, mind you, but people from other kingdoms within the coalition. You know, and that takes one player out of the game for 90 minutes if that's all they're doing. You know, when we hit Kingsland, you know, I think Hubsy spent more time placing markers and communicating with our allies in the fire camp and our allies in our own camp as to what our priorities were than he did actually fighting. You know, that takes a high power player who has excellent tech and excellent marches out of the game. So there's something to be said about having some administrative people, one or two, in the R4 position that can do that type of stuff for you. You know, and poor Hubs in Kingsland, I'd be like, okay, we're rallying A2 next. Let's get that marker changed. Okay, we're defending D1 next. Let's get that marker changed. He only had one or two marches by that time to fight anyway, but I felt so bad for the guy. But he's a trooper. He's a trooper. You know, and the last thing I want to do when I'm fighting is be talking strategy and having long sessions on Discord or in game with our allies. Where should we build a flag next? Let's think about this. No, we're in fucking Kingsland. You build a flag when we burn a flag and we get territory. You just drop a fucking flag. We'll deal with it later if it's in the wrong spot. This flag is going next, huh? Can they fit a flag over here? Can SW fit a flag over here? I imagine they want to get this one burning before they drop one. Ooh. Her conversations were always flirty, and her game knowledge was non-existent. People found out she was a minor, and then they had to question themselves in the mirror. Oh, UCS spotted. I thought, yeah, right there. UCS spotted. Crazy farmer, free to play. Yes, you are. Just sipping my coffee, enjoying the fights here. I mean, based on the resistance 1960 is getting here, yeah, when they have to face all these kingdoms plus the other kingdoms in Kingsland, it's going to be an uphill battle. Nevsky Justin against Gorgo. That did not work for us in a pass. Against the pass. Looks like it's working for them, though. Then again, I don't see this garrison being refilled. There goes that flag. Well, they have the players that can rain and port, though, don't they? So is their enemy going to fill in the space, or are they going to fill in the space with a flag? And when exactly are they going to rally this fort? That's been repairing all morning. Oh boy, 302s in this zone also? Duck players? Song players? We might be getting a mini preview of Kingsland here. Well, they won their last KvK, right? I haven't been looking, but I haven't seen Chisgall on the field. I haven't seen him stream this KvK, much of this KvK either. And maybe it's just timing. Maybe I just haven't seen his live streams. See, a lot of them are going to refresh their marches, and that leaves this other flag really vulnerable. This Gorgo here. They're keeping it topped off, though. They're doing good. Oh, is he going to Germany for that Rise of Kingdoms deal? That would be why then. $90 wonderful people watching. 94 of you have already hit the like button.
Fight!
Let's hit that like button if you don't mind. If you've already done so, you don't need to do it a second time. But if you haven't done so, please swarm that like button for me, would you? If you're watching, you're not subscribed, that's the only way you can chat. Subscribers only in chat. Appreciate that subscription as well. We're working our way towards that 3,000 number. Once we hit 3,000, Electro King's going to give away a free profile picture to a lucky winner. So you won't want to miss that. When we hit 1,000, we did a giveaway. We gave away some t-shirts. Coffee mug, I think, if I remember correctly. When we hit 2,000, we did the same thing. So once we hit 3,000, we'll probably be doing that again. We got some cool stuff in the merch shop. Whether it be mouse mats or phone cases or t-shirts, hoodies. Every dollar I get goes back into the computer, goes back into Rise of Kingdoms, into bundles. Appreciate anything anyone can do. Let's get that 100 likes, and I'll drop another 5 gifted members in the chat just to say thank you to everybody who is, well, for me, it's bright and early in the morning. But for everybody around the world who is tuning in to say hello. The more members we have, the more emojis we can get. These are some of the cool emojis that Electro King has made for us thus far. They're doing what they need to do, though. They're keeping their flags burning. They're defending theirs. I don't know that they have the field. I mean, they've got the field right now. But if all these guys pushed over, I don't know that they would have field control for much longer. You got a full march. Where the hell are you going? Okay, that's a CC. I understand why you're running away. Yeah, you can say the same about any KvK, right? It's a marathon. And this zone, these past 7 fights, they only last for 3 days. And if their enemy does a solid job with forts, they're not going to make any progress in here whatsoever. You know, they're going to build another fort if this one burns. They're going to build another fort if this one burns. Well, this one is repairing. You know, the chink in the armor here might be that there is no fort in this general area. So if they can put up some flags and build through there, maybe these yellow guys need to build another flag up a little bit more so it blocks off this little teeny access point here. But I mean, if they can get through these flags anyway. But there's a long distance down here to this pass 8 to even try and cut these guys off from Kingsland, right? So I mean, if you look at the distance between the pass 7s and the pass 8s, right? This pass 7 over here is probably the most vulnerable. You have the shortest distance between this pass 7 and these pass 8s than you do any other pass 7, any other pass 8 on the map. I mean, even this pass 7 to these two pass 8s, that's still a longer distance, right? These two pass 8s, I mean, Earth is at such a huge disadvantage here going into Kingsland because these two pass 8s are so close together. If Earth Camp and Water Camp are not allies, and this is the predicament we were in, we had to defend this zone because these two passes can easily be cut off by the Water Camp. It's only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, call it 12, 14 flags. So this map is weird in that aspect. I mean, you've got this pass 7 over here and then a huge distance over these pass 8s. It's nearly impossible to flag there if you're going up against a good enemy. Same thing here. Huge distance over these pass 8s. Same thing up here, right? I mean, you got a shorter distance down to this one, but in 3 days, there's probably no way in hell you're going to make it down to this one unless you can drop a fort in here somewhere. And pretty much the same over here, right? So it blows my mind how oddly laid out this map is for these pass 8s and this pass 7. But this is going to be a stalemate for 3 days pretty much. Unless they just go all out and try and get this territory in here, but I doubt they're going to get to those pass 8s like I said. And then Kingsland will be where the real battle is. I'd like to see the maps revised a little bit. That might be interesting too. What's up, Zalor? True. That marathon argument could go either way, right? I mean, if you've only got one alliance with 150 players in fighting, possibly they get tired out. You going against multiple kingdoms with potentially 300 plus players in each kingdom. We'll see. Time will tell. Hey, there we go. We hit 100, and I didn't even notice it until now. If you do not have gifting turned on, be sure and turn it on. Oops, that's the wrong button. Giving away another 5 gifted memberships right now. Turn that gifting on. John R., I hope you get one. Let's see. Zalor just got into chat. He gets one. He's Naughty Games. Jay. John, you must not have gifting turned on because you've been typing a ton in chat and you didn't get one. What's up, Cods? Archer Gang. Yes, sir. Popping the Archer Gang emoji right away. And the Korean player chat, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I can't pronounce your name, but welcome to the Touchdown Club, all y'all. You now have access to all those special emojis in the YouTube chat, and you have access to the Touchdown Club on my Discord server. So if you're not on Discord, join Discord. What's good, Abo? Who do I think will win? Time will tell. I think it's still anyone's game at this point. I mean, Smash Squad has the whales. 2605 has the whales. That's for sure. But do they have enough of them? We'll see. Yes, there is a Touchdown Club on Discord, Yaffy. Or Yami. Sorry. You just caught that out of the corner of my eye. Sorry, Yami. No insult intended. And I know I fight different than most guys. I will be the first to admit that, but this drives me absolutely nuts to see players marching backwards. You know what I mean? Okay, if your marchers are yellow, yeah, don't tank for the rest of your team. You don't do the hit and run bullshit. But you can still provide value to these fights. You can still get off some skills. You know, you might not get positive trades on your reports, but you can still provide value to your team. $77 will show up at Kingsland if they are winning, and they'll want the Zig. That would be something to see. So to make sure you have access to the Touchdown Club on Discord, you need to link your YouTube account to your Discord account. So that should be somewhere in Discord settings. That's where Mad Mania posts all of his feet pics. So you'll definitely want to get in there, Yami. Oh, let me take care of this real quick. Yeah, 77 just came out of a tough KvK. 302 has had a couple tough KvKs. I think the last KvK for 1605 was an easier one for them, which is why they took on a 1 versus all here. So it's gonna be Kingsland will be interesting. Definitely something I will try and stream as much of as I can. I don't feel like an Imperium should be able to do a recovery. There comes a time when almost everyone needs a recovery KvK. I mean, that's why 1365, I don't think they do recovery KvKs. I don't think 1093 does recovery KvKs, but you know, they're bringing in massive migrations every single KvK. I don't think the only Imperiums I saw in this KvK were 2605 and 1002. I don't think 77 is an Imperium right now, but you know, if they want to build back up, right, you would think that they would fight, kill some troops off so that they can bring in more migrants after this KvK. And you're not going to attract migrants to the kingdom necessarily by sitting one of the more high-profile KvKs out. But that's just my opinion. Say it all the time, right? Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Oh, they were for a day. Okay. So they must be right on that border. That's pretty good numbers, guys. 121 people voted in the poll, and we got 111 likes. That's awesome. You guys are smashing that like button today. Thank you, each and every one of you. Let's put a real poll up now. Let's see what you guys think. Who wins this KvK? 2605 or everyone else? Just because the like poll is down doesn't mean you need to stop smashing that like button, right? But I'd be interested to see everyone's feedback on who wins this KvK. Let's take a peek over on the other side of the map while there's just open field fighting going on there. See what's going on here, how these forts are doing. There's Yoda. That fort is still burning. A little less than a third hit points left. One is right around half. So that's got 12 hours on it yet, probably. This has got a good 6 hours on it yet, probably. So in a couple of hours, they should come over here and probably drop another fort. This fort here probably only been burning for 3 or 4 hours, maybe 5 hours. So it's got a ways yet. This territory is no longer blue. So what do they lose here? March speed plus 10%. So if these guys in yellow can make their way over here and take this sanctuary, that will be a big buff that SW loses. Although they probably have the sanctuary up here still. Yep, March speed 10%. Maybe these guys need to do a sneaky sneak and drop a fort somewhere in here. Put some pressure on them. On multiple fronts. I mean, they're all focused right here, right now. So put some pressure on them on multiple fronts. Spread their big players out into 3 different locations. I don't understand why they're sending naked rallies here. Especially naked archer rallies. I mean, that's going to get swarmed down, and it did. You want to send a naked rally at that flag, do a Tariq Pakal, or do a Attila Nevsky, something that hurts them a little bit to swarm anyway. The Imperium bar has dropped significantly when we see it all the time. We see more and more. A year and a half, 2 years ago when we were low seed kingdom, a lot of the low seed kingdoms we played against were not very well organized. Didn't have great fighters, but more and more now we're coming across these lower seed kingdoms that are very well organized, have solid fighters. And do a fantastic job in KvK. And part of matchmaking for us that kind of hurts us, right, is the 4 stars on our banner. Because Lilith takes that into account now when they do matchmaking. So we're going to continue to see those stronger C and D seed kingdoms and even B seed kingdoms in our KvKs. And that's fine. We're up for the fight. We enjoy a good fight. But it makes it hard when you're an alliance that has... let's see, 5, 8, 33 main accounts in it. These 56, these are all farm accounts. That we used to fill rallies and fill flags. So that's part of why we're recruiting some more players. We lost some good players, but that's part of why we're recruiting, or we have been recruiting. It's kind of closed right now, unless you're a exceptional player that maxes tech with rally, garrison, good gear, etc. Because we need to grow a bit ourselves, get some more numbers here, so we can compete better with those better organized low seed kingdoms. Yeah, exactly, Pocket. Exactly. I mean, the first KvK we got Otric rewards on. We got what was it? Something like 40 for our alliance, 60 for our kingdom. I mean, I had 8 farms get an Autra conscription. I didn't have a conquest coin on those farms, right? Because I just use those to fill flags and rallies, so I couldn't take advantage of it. But I had 8 farms that got a Autra conscription. Now, that's another thing too, guys. Make sure you always got one of these coins in the bank. Because when you win KvK, you have to have a conquest coin to take advantage of that. I think that's something a lot of people don't understand, right? If you don't have one of those coins, you can't even get that inscription. What's up, Rec? I mean, I think that's Naughty Games. I think that's part of their plan, though, right? They said they were going to reduce lag in the game. I think part of the plan is to reduce the size of those Imperium kingdoms. And they do that by what? By offering those Autric rewards to only a select few people. So even if you win, you get what? 240? The winners get 240 to split between their coalition. So if you've got 1,000 players in one of these Super Imperium kingdoms, and only 240 of them get an Autric, you know, you got to give those to your rally and garrison leads that are maxing Crystal Tech. And that leaves a lot of players on the outside looking in. You know, I think that's part of the master plan to get people into other kingdoms where lag doesn't hurt so much in a KvK. You know, doing things like that's certainly easier than optimizing the code in the game to reduce the lag for players, right? I think potentially coming changes where you can only take X number of players into a KvK, that's going to reduce the size of these Imperium kingdoms even more. That's going to reduce a lot of the farm filling that we see from farm accounts in these big kingdoms with 1,300 players in them. Got Chipotle. Nice. You know, I mean, kingdoms like 1960, they're kind of the exception to the rule, right? And I think that's kind of what 2060-05 is trying to model themselves after. You know, you want those 260, 240 high power, high spending, quality fighters in the kingdom that are all able to get that inscription every KvK you win. You know, those one or two main alliances with that number of players. And then you want farms to supplement and flag fill. You know, it's going to be very hard for kingdoms like the 1365s, like the 1093s, to stay in that Super Imperium status with 1,000 plus players in them. Shinshi said it best, just don't fight 1960. Yami says that's why I'm happy here. Yami's in 1029, by the way. Because I'll never be able to compete against big whales, and I try to fight like crazy and swarm, and I'm a low spender. Yeah, and that's the if you're a low spender and you're a fighter and you want rewards, it's nice to be in a lower seed kingdom because you get some of those benefits. Where are you, Yami? Dark Yami, right here. Hey, I'm less than 20 million power ahead of you. Yeah, I mean, you can see he fights. You can see he kills troops. But yet it's possible for him to get top 15 in MGEs. It's possible for him to take a first place and a second place in a gold head event every 3 months. You know, so you can have the most powerful player in the kingdom, and MF understood this. Right? He was the most selfless Kraken I have ever played this game with. He understood this. You know, he can be the biggest player, the best player in Rise of Kingdoms, but if you don't have good people surrounding you, there's only so much one player can do. So that's kind of how we structured this kingdom from the start, how they structured this kingdom from the start. I was lucky enough to be accepted and come into this kingdom, you know, after the OG players were already here. You know, there were many, many MGEs that MF was offered first place, and he said, no, 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 no. I have gold heads. You guys need it more than I do. You guys take it. You know, very, very rarely did I ever see him take first place in a gold head event. Hey, Josh, thank you for the subscription. You know, and I mean, he would push to first place in a gold head event if some rogue player was trying to steal it in the end. You know, MF would just jump a bunch of troops to get first place so that rogue didn't get it. That's really the only time he ever took first place in a gold head event. Hey, Big Ed, good to see you. I mean, you can have the biggest, baddest Kraken with, you know, 10 trillion kill points and 50 billion deads, but if they don't have players around them to support them, it all goes downhill. Perfect example of this is Kingdom 1039. When I was in 1039, Solomar took first place in almost every single MGE. He took first place in almost every single gold head event. Yet he didn't do a whole hell of a lot when KvK 1 and KvK 2 came around. You know, there were other MGEs that other players would win, but, you know, generally he was high ranked in every single event. And he got those high ranks just by training a lot of troops. That's great for the kingdom, you know, because you're getting gold chest after gold chest when he's maxing out every bundle on a daily basis. But it hurts the kingdom long term because you don't have those players then that have those rally leads, that have those garrison commanders, that are able to max the wheel commanders from gold head events and things like that. You know, so proper management in a kingdom is insanely important these days. Now, there are more gold head events now than I remember there being in the first year or two of this game. So it's much easier to max commanders and expertise commanders nowadays than it was way back in the beginning. But I remember struggling in 1039 to even get 4 gold heads in a gold head event. I mean, you would literally have to choose, okay, am I going to push to top 10 in this gold head event for 4 gold heads and waste days and days and days of speed ups to get 4 gold heads? Or am I just going to suck it up and fight with a 5-5-5-1 Saladin? To my knowledge, Yoda is not a Lilith employee, no. Somebody in chat earlier said Yoda's got a lot going on right now in his real life. And they said, and this is hearsay, I don't know this is fact, they said Cortex was primarily piloting his account. Old King took 3K sculptures in 18 months and never maxed Crystal Tech, rarely showed up for fights. Yeah, that's the problem, right? And, you know, we lost 5 big players, 5 garrison players, 5 rally players recently in 1029. So we've got very few rally and garrisons left that are going to max tech every KvK, which is why it's great to see people wanting to come here. We've got several coming in that are rally and garrison leaders that are going to max tech in KvK, and I can't wait. And that's why I am so diligent now in asking players, okay, what kind of spot are you looking for in MGE? How many gold heads do you have? What's your equipment like? Who are you going to pair this commander with? Because I want to make sure that we're maximizing each and every event that we have to make sure that we have that supporting cast in place. You know, we've still got core fighters here, but we can't garrison flags on 6 different fronts anymore like we've been able to, unless You know, unless Lambo's doing 3 garrisons, but you know that hurts the kingdom long run too, because I'm one of the field fighters that tanks everything. You know, and if I've got 3 of my 6, 3 of my 5, 3 of my 6, 3 of my 7 marches garrisoning flags, you know, I'm only fighting on the open field with a few marches then, and that's going to hurt the kingdom. So yeah, the same thing I've said for ages. Yeah, I mean, I've had more fun since I've been in 1029 playing with a great group of people than I did ever playing in 1207, where I went to sleep every single night wondering if I would wake up to be zeroed in the morning. That I did in 1039, where a select few got everything, and there were a ton of players there just for the Solimar gold chests. I have more fun here than I did in 1052, and that includes winning in Osiris League with OV. Right? Don't get me wrong, that was fun, but it's much more enjoyable for me to play with a great group of high character individuals than it is to play in a kingdom where there's constantly drama and constantly selfish players. So Resurgence passed his account to a new individual. They migrated out. Kat has quit the game. She's letting her accounts go to the cloud. You know, maybe once matchmaking is done in KvK, maybe Kat comes back and fights KvK with us. You know, but she's letting her accounts go to the cloud. Mavic intends to quit the game. MF left before, well, Fluffy Pony took over MF's account and is in 2605. That was before this KvK. Shadow of Moon and Winnie the Pooh, they left and went to Kingdom 1316, which I understand is a very, very strong 60 GT like B seed kingdom. They might be A seed now. You know, they wanted to play in a bigger kingdom. And, you know, the door is open for them to come back at any time. You know, if they don't like it there and they want to come back, hey, all they got to do is knock on my door and say, hey, Lambo, we're ready. We're ready to come home. I mean, I think you guys hear me say it all the time, right? I'm 53 years old. If you're not having fun doing something in life, don't do it. Life is short. Especially playing a game, right? Because these games are an escape from reality for many people. It's a source of enjoyment and entertainment for many people. If you're not having fun playing the game and you're not enjoying the kingdom that you're in, find another kingdom. Exactly, Sky. Any game is better when you have good friends playing it with you. You know, and I would rather lose every KvK and have fun with a good group of people than I would win every KvK and be in a toxic kingdom with a bunch of douchebags that are all selfish players. Yeah, we've been streaming for over 2 hours now. My wife did just take the dog for a walk, so when she gets home, I'm probably going to have to get off my ass. Oh yeah, we dropped another 5 gifted. We surpassed the 100 likes. You guys are smoking past that. I appreciate each and every one of you watching. Probably helps that nobody else is streaming this right now, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Speaking of likes, though, if you haven't done it yet, swarm that like button. We are on the road to 3K subs. Been doing this YouTube thing for, what, since October of 2022, so a little over a year. So, hats off to you guys. I appreciate all the support everyone has given me. That includes all the other content creators out there plugging my stream. You know, Redline, Apo, Beast, Plotto, Only Farmer, Jake. You know, there are too many to name. Appreciate all the raids everybody has given me over the year. I was reading somewhere most streamers don't even hit 100 likes, or excuse me, 100 subscribers in their first year of streaming. So the fact that I'm at 2.35k subs just over a year into streaming, that says a lot about the character of this community and each and every one of you out there. Okay, so having videos going through MF's account, that helped a lot too. I will not deny that fact that I probably got 600 subscribers from the first MF video I did alone. You know, I just get on here and have fun with y'all. I don't provide a lot of what I consider valuable content, right? Don't do many commander breakdowns, pairing videos, talent tree videos, that type of thing. I'll leave that to those other guys who are much smarter than me. I just want to get on here and hang out and have some fun. That, and I can say this because my wife took the dog for a walk. It's nice to get away from every now and then and escape reality. The MF account review got me into your channel. Hey! That's a win, Riley. I'll consider that a win. Alright, so what is the objective here? This flag is burning. We got back flags here. There's a flag in here somewhere. It's burning, but they're back flagged here. This fort is still repairing. This fort is still repairing. So it looks to me like 2605 in the enemy's uptime anyway. It looks to me like they are ignoring the forts. And they are trying to get these flags down so that they can maybe sneak through here a little bit. It's a Theodora Bastion. Even so, it would be a miracle if they could make it down to either of these pass 8s to block these guys from Kingsland, because that's a long way down there. And if they are building flags all the way down there, that's a lot of resources then you're spending on those flags, which would handicap you in Kingsland. So we will see. Kingsland opens in a little under 2 days for these guys. We will see. It's going to be enjoyable to watch. I appreciate that, T. You do podcast and community stuff? Yeah, true. Great music choice. There are those that would disagree with you. MF told me once, I watch your streams all the time. I don't know what's going on, though, because I have to mute them. I don't like your music. Yeah, I agree, Dino. I don't think they're going to get there either. Not enough time. And yeah, precisely, John. Crystal can be a problem. Especially when you're building into multiple zones like they have been. And maybe that's why they gave up on that, or it looks like they gave up on that zone 4 on the far left-hand side, so they can delete some of those flags, because Every time you build I think it's every 20 flags or so, the cost to build a flag in crystals goes up. First 20 are free, no crystals, but after that, it keeps going up every 20 flags. I agree totally there. The terrain between Earth and Wind, the proximity of the Kingsland passes to the level 7 pass is way too close together. That's one of the reasons whenever we're in Wind Camp, we try and ally with Earth Camp, or vice versa. In the Heroic Anthem map, because that pass is, real close. Real close. Wind can stick 9 forts in there and forget about it. Yeah, and Earth Camp can block that pass really easily too. We did it with 2 forts in our last KvK. There is a limit to flags. I think it's what, 500. I don't think we've ever reached 500 flags in a KvK. Who's winning? Well, if we look at this side of the map, it's 2605 has enemy stuff on fire other than the 2 forts that they border. If we look at the other side of the map, the enemy has 2605 on fire, and is working to push them out of the initial zone. What is that? Zone 5 on the far left-hand side. So it's anyone's game at this point. So if we look at this pass over here, right, these 2 forts from 2605, farm alliances, mind you, they are on fire. If we continue over to this zone 5, this territory that's all gray was once owned by 1605. So it looks like 1302 is making a push for this sanctuary, which will give them 10% march speed. And these 2605 forts here are also, well, that one's on fire. This one doesn't touch anything. So you tell me, who's winning? These past 7s are open. They opened 26 hours ago. 3 days later, pass 8 into Kingsland opens. As it stands now, it looks like everyone's getting into Kingsland, and that's where the fight's going to be. So a lot of the fighting being done now is just to, and I hate to use the word trades, but is just being done to try and take positive trades and drain your enemies. Now, to me, it looks like SW and 1605 is trying to build flags through this narrow little gap here so that they can maybe swing around and cut off some of this territory. But it's going to be hard to do so. All these guys in yellow have to do here is drop another flag up here somewhere, and they block that path, or drop better yet, build another fort up here. But I think right now, if 1605 can get a couple of these flags down, get a couple of these cities to port away, get a couple of their Krakens in here, they might then have an easier time doing some stuff. I mean, they're not, by no means are they having a hard time here. There are times where it's back and forth, but right now it looks like they're controlling the field. But if they can get a cyborg, if they can get a fluffy pony, if they can get a Yoda, some of those Krakens, some of those big players up here on the front lines, that's going to be huge. Vietnamese on the left gave them a real headache. Bye is in that kingdom. I have not watched Bye since he switched to casting in Vietnamese. It wouldn't be fun if 2605 lost. because it ran out of resources and speed ups. It wouldn't be fun, or it would be fun. Yeah, exactly. Crystals are a problem once you get into Kingsland and beyond. Especially if you're building into multiple zone 5s. What's up, eh? Yep, we are early today. We've already been streaming for 2 hours. I started streaming about 6:25 Central Time, a.m. Yeah, part of the reason I think 2605 did take on one versus all is so that they could drop power. They want more. I think they want to be a 2 alliance kingdom. I think. Don't quote me on that. But if they're trying to structure themselves after the 60 GT, the 2489 type kingdoms, that's probably what they're going for. So I'll be honest, I've not watched a lot of Bye Bye since he made the video about why he doesn't fill forts and fill rallies. Now he made a correction to that video, I'm aware, but that video kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Just being 100% honest and transparent. You guys know I don't kiss anyone's ass here. I think he's a very good open field fighter, but a lot of times, yeah, I don't see him swarming. I don't see him filling flags. I don't see him filling rallies. You know, I get it. Open field is where the content's at. I understand that. Oh, that's repairing. That's the last repair. Get that down. So, you know, it is what it is. If they want to lose more power, sounds like Fleisch. Yeah, somebody said the exact same thing about Fleisch earlier. If they want to lose more power, their whales need to do, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and someone was saying this yesterday in the live stream, right, or on my Discord, I forget where, but 60 GT has players who are specifically assigned to swarm flags with specific marches to swarm those flags. They have other players that are specifically assigned to keep the rally full. You know, they are very well organized. I'm sure 1093 does the exact same thing. 1365. You know, that's the level kingdoms need to get to. Who are all these players? Other kingdoms wanting to join us. They must want... We're one of the few kingdoms that has territory left in the KvK map. They must want to stay here for a while. He's purely 6 March open field. Let me just check Alliance chat, make sure I didn't. Didn't miss any people asking for titles. Oh, that's coalition chat. We don't want that. Okay, Animal was the last one. Good. Let's see if there are any reports in Fight Club. Nope, just people wanting to do Champions of Olympia. I can't tell where that flag was anymore. Oh, there it is. There's a Justin rally on it. A Fat Hands rally. Okay, get ready for the boom. Here it comes. I do not have any insight into how the Chinese kingdoms are run on their servers. Here we go. Plug your ears. Yep, no more burns on that flag. It's only got like 260 hit points or so left on it. So they cannot repair this one anymore. It's going to be interesting to watch 1605 drop a flag there if they try. This flag, I think, can be repaired one more time. Oh, at least one more time. Suarez is the math guy in our alliance. He always tells, you know, he'll post markers. A1, 2 repairs left, or A2, 1 repair left, and he'll post a time that it can next be repaired. Take Cyborg, Peppa Pig, Fat Hands, Fluffy Pony, Yoda. They should never be in garrison. Well, yeah, they've got all the expertise, procced, critted, iconic equipment to be the swarmers. Yeah, I would as well. Have all your Krakens up front at all times. Why Yoda's over there on the other side, I don't know. Maybe he's not online. Maybe none of his pilots are online. Or maybe he's trying to solo defend that fort over there next time they repair it. Every time they repair it, I couldn't tell you. Yeah, you would think that those Krakens would be definitely on the front line, all online, swarming every single flag they can. Yeah, you've got tons. I agree, John. You've got tons of other players to fill those rallies and garrisons and keep those full. Cortex is doing weird stuff as king. Is he king right now? Clyde is the king. Is that Cortex? Did he change his name? I've never been a Kraken, so I can't tell you how Krakens play. But, I mean, I just know how we've always done things in 29, right? And that's when you establish territory in a new zone, the first players to port up are your big players. You know, if I see a Yafi porting to the first teleport spot in a new zone, I'm gonna learn some fucking French and chew him a new asshole right on Discord. That's hard to control, though, in a KvK where you have 5 kingdoms in your camp and there's a coalition, right? I know there were several times I tried to port into Kingsland, and some 65, 70 million power player beat me to the teleport spot. It was really frustrating. Yeah, no one can teleport up here right now. The pass covers this territory up until about this line right here, where these cities are. So they have to get this flag down. They have to get, oh, somebody is here. Okay. You know, they have to get these flags down over here to establish a few teleport spots so their players can port forward. I mean, even this one, right? This flag goes down. This flag covers up that territory. You know, there's maybe one spot in here for somebody to teleport in, maybe. Yeah, no, there's going to be nothing if these flags get built. You know, they're going to have to drop another flag in this little space here to take out some more flags. So yeah, these guys are back building flags very efficiently. This is going to be a day-long thing here, but it is the weekend. It is the weekend. I don't know who Clyde is. Clyde is Clyde, the most Clydest person out there. Sorry, answering a few Discord messages there for a second. This flag's repairing. That one's next. Then probably this one. Oh, they already took the building flag down, huh? I mean, they're pushing. They're pushing. I would still keep these forts burning though, but I understand the focus is on the flags, but I would still. I mean, you got enough players on the open field. There's no reason you can't do the forts too. Other than they have 3 million troops in them, but I'm sure you have players with 3 million in the rally by now. I know last KvK I maxed tech by past 7. So I'm sure there are players in 2605 who have max tech. $2605 does not play with an objective in mind. They go anywhere, huh? Yeah, sometimes you have to, right? I mean, You know, you can have the best possible flag line, the best possible plan in place. This is what we want to do. This is where we want to go. But in the heat of the moment, you have to be ready to kind of change on the fly. And, you know, sure, you can have a backup plan, but, you know, do many kingdoms have a backup plan for a backup plan for a backup plan? And, you know, 200 different contingency plans. You know, are these kings carrying around the nuclear briefcase like the President of the United States does that contains a huge document as to how to react if such and such happens? No, I mean, you can't do that. You just kind of got to wing it sometimes and do what you got to do. Objective for this KvK is to increase alliance kill points. Probably drop power too so they can get some migrants in, right? Yeah, I would agree, Zeldris. You know, if you can. So we were looking at the past 7s and past 8s earlier, and let's watch this flag. We were looking at the past 7s and past 8s earlier. There is quite a distance between most of the past 7s and most of the past 8s. That if the enemy does a good job building forts and backflagging, unless you can get that sneaky AF drop somewhere, it's going to be very hard to block somebody from getting into Kingsland. Unless you're the Wind or the Earth Camp. Because the past 7 and past 8s for the Wind and the Earth Camp are in very close proximity to each other. Specifically, Wind going into Earth, you've got about 24 flags that if you can break through that past 7 and break through the forts that are blocking it, you can keep them out of Kingsland. I mean, we've had several KvKs where we have been able where we were Wind camp. And where is the damn past 7 here, right? Yeah, this past 7, because this past 7 over here is much closer to these past 8s than any other past 7 and past 8 in this map. So we've had several KvKs here where we've been able to break through the fort wall here and actually build and block one of these past 8s. Now we did have a KvK where we were able to build through this past 7 from the Earth Camp side and block this past 8 for the Fire Camp, but we couldn't get down to this past 8. And that KvK, I remember MF probably used 200 random teleports, and he got a random teleport spot right in here. And when they were trying to rally this past 8 and take this past 8 so they could get into Kingsland, he would swarm down every rally. So the Fire Camp in that KvK didn't even get into Kingsland because we blocked this past 8 from him, and MF swarmed down every rally here. And after he swarmed down like 4 or 5 rallies going to this past 8, they just kind of gave up. And those are the things that I expect Krakens to do, right? You know, use those 200 random teleports, get in the absolute perfect position. There goes that flag. Not give a darn about trades, and do what it takes to disrupt the enemy's plans. Our KvK that we're in, that we have 5 days left in, we could not get through their past 7 at all. Gorgo is a bitch. And our enemies did a very, very good job. I don't know why Google must have misunderstood Gorgo for Google, because my Google Home just lit up. Our enemies did a very good job keeping their past 7 from us. MF stopped probably 60 days ago, 70 days ago, before our KvK started. I mean, we still have accounts that he can play on if he wants to come back. This Groot account here is one that he could play on if he wants to, come and have some fun. This is an account that we have other players in the TSN group that can come on and use if they want to come and fight in a KvK. Surez ran out of troops, so he started using this account in the last KvK. We'll let that account go to the cloud. We'll let that account go to the cloud, and then maybe after matchmaking in the next KvK, bring it out again. A lot of these quote-unquote C&D kingdoms are starting to do things Imperium kingdoms do. Right? Not allow farms of over 25 million, delete all their sieges, things that we have not historically had to do. So with MF Guan, before this KvK, with several of our bigger players leaving, we are having to revisit our processes. Recently we made a change where people can only have 100,000 T4, T5 sieges, and that's what we use in the gold pits. I'm asking farms not to train any more troops. Stop increasing tech on farms, things like that, to keep those farms at a lower power. Those high-level shared accounts, like that Groot account, we're just going to let them go to the cloud, so that when KvK matchmaking comes, it doesn't look at that account when matchmaking takes place. And then we'll bring that account out again if we need it to fill flags and fill rallies. Yeah, Warriors Unbound is not. We might try it. Who knows? I mean, the fort meta is still the fort meta there. You can still block a pass with a fort. He had like five characters on the MF account. But I don't think Fluffy Pony was going to use any of those. So he migrated one of them to another kingdom and let them zero it, and the other ones were really small ones. I don't think he did much with those at all. They're probably in the cloud in 1029 still. So MF had his 700 million account or 700 million character on that account. JPie had 140 million character on that account that Fluffy Pony wasn't going to use. So I forget what that kingdom was, where some rogue took over as king and uncapped it and deleted the alliance or deleted everybody or something like that. Filled up the shop with passports or something stupid, but Fluffy Pony migrated JPie's account there and let them zero it there. Yeah, 27. Thank you, 2707. I knew there were some sevens in it. I just forgot which kingdom it was. Right? I mean, shit. I can remember song lyrics from the 1980s, but if you introduce me to somebody and tell me their name, I'll forget their name 5 minutes later. Yeah, that was the ultimate sneaky long play revenge, right? I mean, that player was in that kingdom for a long time. Earned the trust of the R5 and the R4s and got past king, and then he took his revenge. That was crazy to watch, crazy to see. Really, there is nobody else streaming this KvK at the moment? That's crazy. Well, we'll keep going till the wife gets home from walking the dog. Then I got some honeydew things to complete. If I do not get those done, then life for me is not good. Did they use a bot to transfer King? I don't know. I don't know if those title bots are even quote-unquote legal. I don't know. I haven't asked VIP support. It's not something that I'm interested in getting here. Not something I want to pay for anyway. Why would you rotate King with a bot? That's just dumb. And how could you rotate King with a bot? Because only the King can promote somebody else to King, right? So the bot would have to have access to every single account that is in the rotation for King. Oh, the rogue changed his name to the King's name and the bot assigned it to the wrong person. That's crazy. Yeah, my Crystal Tech has been maxed since before Pass 7 opens, so these will all turn into season coins at the end of KvK. Yeah, I've already got I got these. I've got all of these in the shop. Transmutation stones, those are huge. I got a ring. I got a horn. When I first got into KvK, I used coins that I had to get Pride of the Khan so that I could crit that. But now I think we're saving for this this skin here. Cavalry defense plus 10%. I don't have a cavalry skin. So that will be the next KvK purchase in the next KvK. Probably use some of this up, huh? So people have stuff to donate to. So they're grouping up here like they're going to build a flag. This is about to go down. How much space do they even have to build a flag? One little square here. It's going to be right next to their other flag. I'm only 84 million. I'm not a whale. This guy poured in just a cheeseburger, some people. Maybe that wasn't him. Honestly, I never played World of Warcraft. I know a lot of people that did, but I never did. Ooh, could they build a fort here? Is there room? That would be crazy to watch. That would be an interesting 4 hours. I mean, this fort is not being burned. This fort is not being burned. They seem to be focused on these flags, which I understand why. Rally up. He waited 2 years and grinded with the same group at 2 years. Oh wow, that's an investment. I don't think I would have the energy to do something like that. Let me just see. Sending a message out to the others in the Creators Corner podcast to see if one of them is online and wants to fire up a stream here. My wife should be home soon with the dog, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging. But like I said, if I don't get my honeydew list done this weekend again, there will be hell to pay. So I'm seeing if I can find someone to fire up a stream, and I can raid them for you. We're trying anyway. I see a couple people I subscribe to are streaming, but those are Call of Duty players. You know, I have not looked at the Imperium list for a while. So I could not tell you. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. The bar for Imperiums keeps dropping. Somebody said 1077 was Imperium for a little bit there. Oh wow, that if you die you lose your character for, oh yeah, see, maybe that's why I never played World of Warcraft. Yeah, that does sound like making a Rise of Kingdoms, killing a kingdom there. Child's Play. Yep, absolutely. Oh, smart port there. Moved over just a hair so they can't port in. Big brain at work. No one wants that Imperium status anymore. All that happens is you get matched against a monster, get dumpstered for a month straight, and go at it again. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I have not heard of 3035. Nobody is answering me in the Creators Corner podcast. Let me check one more time. Yeah. I don't see anyone streaming right this KvK. Let me just double check on YouTube here. Yep, what's up, Lido? Yeah, my wife is home, and I do have some things to do today. I know there is still fights going on. I apologize, y'all. I appreciate every single one of you watching. The 128 likes. The, where is it? 978 views so far. 83 concurrent viewers. At one point in time. Y'all rock. As soon as I get my stuff done for the day, I got to run some cans and some stuff to the dump. Eat some breakfast. Maybe we'll fire up another stream and be back a little bit later. Chisgul is traveling to Germany, as I understand it. So, I have sent a message out to the others in the Creators Corner podcast, telling them that nobody else is streaming this KvK. People want to watch it. If they want to fire up a stream, they'll probably get some good views. So they might hear shortly. I don't know. But we'll be back as soon as we can. For now, I do have to call it a day. Family, honey-do list, that does come first. But this KvK is unfogged. You're welcome to go watch it yourself. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time today. And we'll catch you on the next one.